Hello, beautiful people, and that includes the beautiful Michelle Gray from the healing-art.com, which will be on the screen and in the description box. How are you? And how's my boy Erik, who is on the other side?
Doing good. Eric's doing good too. He's waving hello. He's been very busy this week. Uh, he's been
Ooh.
popping in and out of my dreams. He's been
Uh-oh.
visiting people. He's been a busy boy.
Why? What's going on, Erik?
Well, he says he's been having a little fun, but
Good,
um but he says he's waking people up. That's what
good,
he's doing.
good. Awesome. Don't wake
So
Michelle up from her dreams, though. If it's
it
a
was a
good
re it
one.
was a really good one. And Lisa, you were in
Oh,
it too. And
really? Oh my
so
God.
was Christina, and so was Michelle.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
I got to hear about that one later.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good one.
All right, so we did with Liz Cross, we did a mind probe of Sebastian Rogers. It ends up that she discovered that he's actually in spirit. Now, the authorities, the parents, nobody really knows that except maybe Sebastian Rogers. Uh, so they have a lot of questions, and they felt like we did mind probes on the police force, the parents, biological and otherwise, but they just need information that's channeled from him. And Erik, maybe you can help. Sebastian Rogers, for you guys who do not know, is a 15-year-old, was a 15-year-old autistic child that just left the front door one morning and never came back, or afternoon, I don't know. And there's been a lot of speculation as to whether he was abducted, etc. But it ended up, well, let's let Sebastian. Erik, can you bring Sebastian in so he
Mhm.
can answer some
He's
questions?
here. He's here.
Okay. So, what do you see, Michelle?
Well, he's standing very equal to Erik. So I'm seeing him actually, his energy. So it doesn't mean he was physically the same height as Erik, but his energy is standing very equal to Erik.
Hmm.
He feels very light. As far as energy that I'm seeing, I'm not seeing his face, but I can see what looks like a young male. Now he looks to be around 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
I could see a t-shirt, a dark t-shirt that he's wearing, blue jeans. I can't see his face, but I can see a little bit of a glow around his face right now.
Cool.
Um, yeah.
Um, Sebastian, can I ask you some questions? Can we ask you some questions?
Yeah, he's really speaking through my body as he just stepped forward and just pushed the energy right out. So yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. So, what happened? What happened that day?
This is very, very hard. Um, because he's not showing that he was taken or that anybody else was involved. He's showing like leaving his physical life on his own will.
Did what made you leave the front door and walk out of your house? Was there some sort of trigger?
He's showing me his mind being in a very different place than like there's not complete logic. There's a lot of imagination is the best way to describe it. Like living in a very different reality, and the physical reality was uh very constricting for him.
Oh,
The way that he was connecting with others, and he's not getting specific as in specific people. He's using the term others, the
okay.
way he connected with others, and he's giving me a very hard feeling, like it was very challenging, it was
Yeah.
difficult. And he was in, and now I'll tell you, he shows me living in another world, being very much in his own space, in his own mind. And there's not this sense of deep depression, although I can feel that, but it's almost like he's disconnecting. He's disconnecting from life, disconnecting from others. So he's got this whole other world going on.
When did
inside
that
of his
start?
mind.
Are you talking about something that's been from birth or something that accelerated days
Uh,
before?
he, he's showing me acceleration around puberty.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. So, were you suffering from depression?
He says that some might say it that way. Um, he says that he wants to say it like this: I wasn't able to be who I wanted to be in the world that I was living.
Yeah.
And so the relationship with myself had to change. I
Oh,
had, I could not be in the body. And he's even giving me, like, this isn't how I thought while I was walking on earth. He's
okay.
giving me an explanation from his spirit perspective.
Okay.
I wasn't able to be in the body with the mind or the place that I was in. It's like I didn't want to be here anymore. And he was really having trouble accepting himself. Um, and he's showing it's growing. So as I'm getting older, it's growing.
Yeah.
And there seems to be an acceleration again. So around 13. And so what is he, 15 or
Yeah.
16, going on 16? So there is an acceleration about 8 months prior to him leaving.
Okay. So you left the front door. I think you left your shoes there. So then what happened? Can you walk us through the events?
He's directing me to water.
Okay. And so you went to some body of water. Was it a river, lake, ocean? I can't remember where it's from.
It's it it doesn't look like a lake. He's giving me some visuals, almost like I'm looking around.
Okay.
It feels early in the day,
Mhm.
like the sun's not up. Um, Now he's not showing me, because he's showing me water and darkness.
Okay.
Like everything goes dark. He's not showing me, and it might be part of protecting me from seeing
Oh,
that.
oh yeah.
Um, but he's very adamant about nobody else being involved.
Okay. Eric, if you need to assist, please do. So did you fall into this body of water or did you purposely go into the water?
He's showing being in an altered state. So, like I feel like the energy that he's giving me, and Erik is just okay. So Erik's giving me, yes, keep going, keep going. So the energy that I'm feeling is like almost like I've been in a dream state,
Like a
or
trance?
I've
Something? Yeah.
yes, like I'm not in my, I'm really in my imagination, like what I'm doing, walking out, like I'm not thinking with my physical brain. It's like I'm in an altered state.
Okay, like a dream, like you were
Right.
dreaming.
It doesn't feel medicated or anything like
Okay.
that. It feels like I'm in an altered state. So I'm going towards the water, but I'm not seeing the water as something dangerous.
Okay.
Like it feels more like I'm being pulled to the water. And I know this sounds really weird, but there's a whole I keep getting like visuals, almost like a video game, like a whole other, like he's seeing something
Yeah.
else, seeing
Wow.
something completely different than what's actually happening
Yeah.
in the reality.
So you really didn't see this as a reality. You saw this as this whole sequence as a dream state.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Did you have an intention to take your life? And Eric, if you need to know.
Let me just figure out. There is a sense of escapism. And Erik is just saying that there was a lot of vivid inner world that took place. And so there was a sense of escapism into that inner world. The idea was not necessarily to take his own life. It wasn't, there was no fear. So Erik's like saying there wasn't this intentional thought or plan.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. But
Okay.
there was a little bit of an awareness to like Erik's showing, like, I don't need my coat, I don't need my shoes. Like there's
Okay.
an awareness to I'm going somewhere, I'm
Hmm.
headed towards somewhere, but there's not concern about my physical life. And so, okay, thank you. So he's just saying, um, it wasn't as if I was trying to escape from my life. I was already doing that.
Oh,
I was already escaping. So this is like walking into an altered reality. And he's showing me right now, like the brain being split. So there may have been more going on in the brain than maybe was recognized.
and maybe he
And
had schizophrenia as well, or something, another
it
mental.
feels
Oh,
like there's another layer to his was there any acknowledgement to there have being seizures or anything?
I don't know. Did you have a seizure?
He's showing me that something has taken place in the brain, like changes in the brain.
Mm.
And so there may have been uh okay, Erik's calling them like night seizures. So it may have
Okay.
even been something that wasn't really recognized because it was during the sleep time.
Oh, yeah.
So something that was taking place that was part of altering the brain, part of it,
Let's see.
not the cause, but part of it.
Yeah. So you fell into the water, but it wasn't like, I'm done with this life. Adios. So,
No,
but it was a part of a dream state. So when you fell in the water, how did you react? Emotionally, physically, whatever. Panicked? Were you scared?
he's really taking his time with this. His energy is very, very peaceful and it's very slow, but he's really walking through this slow.
Okay.
He says that his body did recognize cold. He's giving me this sense of feeling some shock in the body,
Mm.
but very quickly afterwards, there's warmth. So, like, there's not panic. He's not going through this
Okay.
state of panic. It's almost like just going into the water and he just keeps going because it just
Okay.
doesn't seem like the realities match. Like where
Oh, I
my
see.
body is and where my focus is not the same.
Okay. Tell us about how it was to leave your body. Let's go through that. And don't answer anything that you don't feel comfortable answering, Sebastian, okay?
He says leaving the body felt like it was him.
Mm.
He says that it was what he would identify as a time in his life where he really felt like himself. He would say that for anybody that understands what it feels like to be healed from something, um, for anyone to understand what it's like to have an ailment that you suddenly feel better, he says that's what it felt like for him. It felt like an acceptance of himself, a lightness, a warmth, and a relief.
Had you felt like that in this lifetime before?
No. But
Okay.
he had well, he wants to say he'd had moments of joy, of course,
Okay.
because he did. He says that there were moments in his life where he was able to feel things that would be close to it. But he's actually giving me in the times leading up. It seems like nighttime was very active for him in
Okay.
his sleep or in this state of mind.
Mhm.
So there was almost like a draw for him to go into this other reality, like a pull for him to go into
Okay.
this. So he's showing me the difference between feeling little tastes of this and what he was actually experiencing. So being out of the body, that was something that he had never really experienced in that way. Now he's also showing me that he astral traveled as a young child.
Oh,
So being very small. And he's saying that that is something that uh, many that have autism, and he says it doesn't matter the how that is, like he's talking about the development of the brain, that leaving the body
yeah.
is quite easy. It's something that's very natural.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So, did you realize when you felt like yourself that you were separate from your body?
He says that he did, um, because he had the perspective of being able to see his body. And
Mm.
he says the letting go of his body, but he's showing me a lot of light around him. So he's already got another reality that he's right in. Like
Okay.
he's showing a lot of bright air. So I don't see anything around him but like bright yellow.
Oh,
Everything's yellow and very warm. And so as he looks back and shows me what he's looking at, he can see the body, but the body doesn't look, it looks like a mannequin.
yeah, of
So
course.
it looks like a mannequin,
Right.
and he's moving away from it.
Okay, so then what happened? Did you meet relatives, Jesus? I mean, what happened after that?
There is another individual that's very close to his age. Um, feels like a brother.
No.
Um, I'm just asking him, is this somebody that passed away that you actually have known in physical life? And he says no. He
Okay.
says that it's not from this physical life, but he recognized him and he's calling him brother.
Okay.
And he's saying that this is who he spent time with in um, the early hours or early moments of his transition.
Okay.
He's not showing me that he had awareness of what was going on in the physical
Okay.
reality. He's very moved into a completely different space and
Yeah.
very happy, he says. Very
When did
happy.
you realize that you were in the afterlife, heaven, so to speak?
He says that it came to him like a book. He was given a book.
Oh, okay.
And he's actually showing me a book that's got the pages are flipping in front of me, and he's being told a story. So he's got this book, and the book is telling him, showing him different, he says, highlights of the story,
Okay.
explaining to him what's taking place. Now, he's not saying that he was in a space of, okay, I'll back that up for a second. I just mentioned to Erik, I was asking him, did he have a healing process? Was there something similar to like what
Yeah.
Erik
Yeah.
experienced?
Yeah.
And no, Sebastian didn't quite experience this the same way. Um, he says that there's always a healing process. Sorry, Erik says there's always a healing process that does occur, especially when there is, he says, a quick disconnection from the body. But he says the difference with Sebastian is he was already preparing for this.
Oh,
And this is contracted.
yeah. I
This is all
figured.
contracted. So Erik says Sebastian was preparing for this. So it's like the way that he was built inside, the way that everything was built. That's why his transition occurred in the way that it did.
Okay. So, where's your body now? And will it ever be found, Erik?
It's in water.
Okay. How far away from where he fell in or walked in?
It doesn't feel like it's that far.
Okay.
Erik says there's a chance that the body will be found.
Okay. So is it trapped under anything like debris or
It's weighted.
it's
It's
weighted?
weighted. It's weighted
Okay.
down. Yeah.
All right. So it's in like within a half mile radius maybe or they need to scour that body of water.
He's giving me a little energy on the half mile, but he's showing me a circle. So
Okay.
I'm seeing like a circle with a bullseye in the middle, and I'm just asking him if the bullseye is like where he left, where he came from. But this is within walking distance.
Okay.
There's also a lot of brush. Like there's walking through some uneven ground. So
Oh,
however
okay.
he got to this water, I'm not seeing like lights or houses or anything like that. There
Okay.
is there is uneven ground, and I can feel almost like you can feel and hear like the crunching sound
Okay.
of crunching, and I can
Yeah.
tell how it's a little uncomfortable on the foot, but he's not noticing any of that. Like it just doesn't seem to affect him.
Wow. How far away from your front door is your body?
It's not close enough that you could see it.
Okay. All right. Um, so why did you come in with autism and these other neurological issues?
A lot of this lifetime for him, it was for the purpose of love, and it was for the family that was around him to be able to have acceptance and love for themselves.
For
He says
themselves.
for themselves.
Wow.
He says a lot of times the focus is put on the individual that has a label, an individual that has a label
Yeah.
of autism, and is looked at as we need to help this individual fit into society, or we need to help this individual um, be able to function in society. And he says, fix
I
them.
know.
But
Labeled
he's,
to be fixed. Yeah.
mhm. But
A
he
lot of
would say,
doctors see patients that way, and I never liked that. Yeah.
he agrees, because he says that um, disabilities often come with lessons of abilities and greater abilities of acceptance and of love, because he's talking about guilt and saying that the guilt that can be created in parents and loved ones can sometimes come out in control, exhaustion.
Yeah.
And he's saying that it's to help a parent find love for themselves and acceptance for themselves in the way that their child or their loved one is. And he says that this was all about love for him, for his individual experience. It was about living with he says, the awareness of two worlds,
Oh, yeah.
blending the two worlds. He says the imagination, the spiritual, and blended with this physical reality, which he says became more pronounced as he got older. He was actually, as a younger boy, there was more of a grounded energy. And
Okay.
he's showing that that started to lift as he got older in preparation for transition.
Interesting. So, do you feel like you were loved by your biological and your parents and your stepfather?
He answers it like this: describe love.
Oh.
Describe love.
Hmm.
He says, what do you mean by love? Because love is something that we put expectation to. It has to be a certain way. He says, I was loved in the way that they were capable of loving me.
Okay.
He says that yes, he did feel love, but he also understands that there were challenges and that love would sometimes be held back, or he's looking over at the stepfather. It's hard to get over differences, frustrations, and healing. Again, what does this bring up in you?
Yeah.
What does this bring up? Because he says, having love for me, do you love yourself?
Mm.
Do you accept yourself? So he's coming from a greater perspective with this in this moment, but he says that it's not that he didn't feel love at times, but he also says he wants to point you out, Elisa, and he says, in the way that you love your children, he did not feel that deep acceptance throughout his life.
I'll adopt you, sweetheart. I'll love you up. So do you have who had the most difficulty with your being a neuroatypical? Your biological parent, one of your biological parents, your stepfather, none of them?
He says it really was dependent on the time in his life.
Okay.
He's identifying his stepfather as having challenge with him.
Yeah.
But he shows that there's a little bit of there's some difficulty, like bumping heads. There's some difficulty there. He says that his mother, like she would reroute herself. Okay, what do you mean by that? She did her best to overcome, because she was, he says she was tired. She was
Oh.
tired, and she says, he's looking at me, he says, you understand. You understand.
Yeah.
She had her challenges, he says, but he does point at the stepfather as having it's a little different perspective. And he's not saying this with any animosity at
Yeah.
all. He's
Right.
being very matter of fact and very loving, very nurturing with it.
Do you have a message for each of those three?
He says, I'm happy. I'm happy. He wants them to, if they're listening to this, he wants them to be able to take the experience of their lives with him to help better themselves, to better their life. He says that there is so much heaviness,
Yeah.
guilt, but he says that the healing process, and he's saying it's very difficult to have a healing process when there are no clear answers.
Oh, yeah.
There is no understanding. And he's even saying, like, what we are sharing today is very hard for those close to hear.
Yeah. Well, I hope the authorities or somebody finds this video and does a deeper search, water search. That would be nice.
He says that this is part of manifestation, meaning part of speaking this energy. Oh, that's interesting. He says that he wants to say this directly to you, Lisa. He says that the importance of being able to have these conversations, the importance of being able to speak from our spirit, to share what we're able. He says it's not sensationalizing, because how do you know? How do you know what needs to be said, what needs to be put out into, he says, the material world, the energy that needs to come forward to make some sort of change? He says not everyone watching always sees the whole domino effect of what takes place.
Yeah.
And he wants to make that very clear. And he thanks you.
Oh.
He thanks you because he says that this is part of that his work, and that's exactly what he looks at this life is, as work, and his work is not done,
Yeah.
because he shows me the symbol for manifestation in saying that this that we're doing right here is part of his work.
Wow. What are you doing on the other side? Are you working with autistic children who just passed? Are you working with parents and this? I mean, maybe you're just taking a breather. I don't know.
Right now, he's taking a bit of a breather, he
Right.
says. He says that he's leaning closer to children. He's saying guides. He's calling them earth guides, those on earth that are guiding others that their voice either shakes or their voice is silent. He's helping those individuals, teachers, he says, parents,
Mm.
individuals in places of authority, to help them make changes for a wave of individuals. And he says a wave of children that have already started to incarnate, that are coming in. Because
Oh,
he says that the children that are coming in are built very different, and there's great purpose to that.
yeah. So, just one more question, I think. Um, what was it? Forgot it already. Oh yeah. Um, are you going to work with Erik at all?
Yeah, he already showed me that. That
Oh,
was part
okay.
of his standing with Erik
Oh, I
is
see. Yeah.
that's it. He's explaining is that the reason why I saw them on that level is there's a similarity in their um, working with those on Earth
Okay.
and being able to create healing and to wake them up. Erik says to wake them up
That's what we talked about at the
to
beginning.
change. Yeah.
Full circle. Do you plan on incarnating anytime soon at all?
He says likely he will at one point. Yes. Yes.
Will you
Um,
come as a neurotypical or neuroatypical?
he says, well, that's not really decided, but he does, as difficult as it may look from a neurotypical standpoint, he says he does enjoy a divergent brain.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's very powerful as far as a soul's growth and a soul's touching others to help them grow as well. So
Yes.
it is a powerful way to incarnate. All right. Anything else you want to ask Michelle or Erik? You want to ask, or Sebastian, if you have something else to say, that'd be great. Oh, maybe a message to the masses or advice.
So what Sebastian is saying is he's saying, keep hope. Even when you feel hope is lost, have hope, because not everything, he's doing the don't judge a book by its cover,
Yeah.
because not everything is as it appears. And he says, if you can walk in this world with a sense of optimism, he says, never judge what's going on inside someone's inner world, because what you might judge as I feel so bad for them, I'm so sorry they're experiencing this, may be an absolutely wondrous world that's going on within them.
Mm.
So he's saying, look at each other with optimism and look into this world with hope.
Any advice for parents of those with or siblings, those with divergent brains?
Mm. He says he wants to speak to siblings first, and he says he's actually saying thank you, because many siblings are able to see their neurodivergent sibling or siblings as they do see them as teachers. They can create a very special bond with that child. He says when it comes to your relationship, this is for parents as well. He says having a great deal of patience for yourself is very important, because, and he's speaking to me directly, and he says it's very easy to put expectations on yourself as a parent, because you want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
You want to do the very best for your child, and allow your child to guide you. Allow your child to take you through this journey. Because if you walk with expectation, you'll find that consistently hit walls of disappointment.
Yeah.
When you allow your child to guide you, you've suddenly opened up a whole new can of worms. And
Yeah.
he says, and let that be a lot of fun, because it is,
Yeah.
if you allow it to be.
I could see how the relationship between the siblings would be different because there's not that guilt. He's born or she is born like this because of me. And there's also not that sense of responsibility. I'm responsible for my child's happiness.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that makes it a little easier. Interesting.
Yes.
Anything else you
I
want
see
to
that.
say?
I see that in my own kids too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say? Or Michelle, if you want to ask Eric, you want to
I
say?
just feel like I want to give him a great big hug.
Yeah.
Like it's
Group
just
hug.
a very warm group hug. Erik loves group hugs.
Oh, I know he does. All right. Well, thank you. This was amazing. You guys, be sure you subscribe. We also have the mind probe that Liz Cross did on this case. And I love you all. I love you, Eric. I love you, Michelle.
Love
Sebastian,
you,
give
Mom.
your mama a
Love you.
hug. Bye.